So the cinemas are opening back up again. Choices. Should I go to the cinema or should I just stay at home and just clearly watch movies in the comfort of my own home? I mean, the cinema, you've got great reasons to go. I mean, constant loud noises from complete strangers, being around complete strangers, always having that guy right behind you. This loves kicking that chair because, why not? And that kid screaming down there, that parent is just fine with doing such thing, and the constant noise of eating is just fantastic. I mean, why would I not want to go back to the cinema? Or I could just sit on my fat ass and just in the comfort of my own home and just enjoy movies that way. The choices are just unreal. Oh, Army of the Dead is on Netflix. Nice. Oh. Yes, that's better. Nice comfy chair where I'll pretend the television is right in front of me when actually it's not clearly over there. So, hello and welcome to a brand new segment, which is actually something I originally did way back when, was review movies. Well, I'm back again doing this as a more of a new thing, kind of starting fresh with it all. So welcome to the Ginger Geek Reviews. It's a very inventive title that I've created for this. Today, we're talking about Army of the Dead, directed, written, produced, and for some odd reason, cinematographer by Zack Snyder himself. Now, I'm going to come out and say it right now, just so you kind of have some sort of clarification of my view on him. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't particularly hate him. I don't particularly love him. I just think he's fine. I think he's just right on that line. And that's just my overall kind of... There's some people that extremely hate him, which I think is a bit extreme. Like, the guy clearly has a passion for film. I just think some of his choices, which I will talk about in this movie, I find quite bizarre. So, the cast stars David Bautista, the lassie from the Tim Burton movie with just a tan now, a mad German, stereotypical bad white guy, not Michael J. White, and Tig Notaro. That's not a real name. I was making jokes of names, but now that was actually a real one. Who, ironically, and I will talk a little bit more about this character, but she is easily probably my favourite in this movie, because she clearly doesn't care that she's in this movie whatsoever, and I think that kind of actually works out better for this said movie. But talking roughly, just kind of overall about the cast, I think they're fine. I don't think there's anything overall great. I do quite like that the Tig character. Tig. That's not a name. I can't be real. That's got to be a stage name, surely. I'm going to say right now, it's almost to the point of, I think there's a bit of a man crush on Dave Bautista, because there's just something, I'm loving seeing his career just going from strength to strength and just kind of, building himself up. I love seeing it. I'm a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, and he was a good example of that, of seeing someone kind of build and progress, and you kind of like seeing that in an actor. You don't just like seeing, like The Rock's a good example, where he was just big straight off, because he was huge obviously with WWE, and quite naturally when I got into movies, yes, he got kind of, the fairy tooth or whatever it was called, is a good example of, it was a bit meh. But overall, just seeing Dave Bautista, just smash. I think he's great here. There's some actually nice wee moments with the Dewey flashbacks, which I actually do think are generally really quite, I think he does them really well. I think he's very believable in it, and I think he does a good job with it. But the rest of the cast, they're all just kind of forgettable, and most of them I'm just like, they're fine. You've also got like, and it's one thing I don't like about this. I hate smart zombies. To me, the zombies I like are the zombies that are slow, and that's what makes them scary, because no matter what, they will always catch up to you, and that's what I always found I quite like about zombies. But I will say one thing I did like what Zack Snyder did. I like that, at least with the smart zombies, he actually did something with it in terms of he wore a helmet. It was like, yeah, he's learned that their weak spot is their brain, so it's like, yeah, you put on a helmet. I like that. That was generally probably one of the things I did like about that kind of sort of character that they did. Overall, rest of the cast, yeah, as I said, it's meh for me. So my overall initial thoughts, it feels to me that overall it's a decent movie, but I think it struggles on grasping its strength of either, is it a good zombie movie, or is it a good heist movie, or is it either, and it's not really, to be honest. It's neither. I get nothing overall from both movie genres, putting them together. So to take as a zombie movie, I think I've seen a lot better. I think it's fine. The problem it has is it doesn't, like, the opening sequence is pretty good, but it doesn't do anything else with that. The location could be anywhere, and that's also kind of an issue here. You know, it glamorifies that. Oh, this movie's, you know, it's Las Vegas, and it's like in the opening, and it's a great opening. It really is. You know, at first I thought, oh, this is going to be quite a fun, you know, kind of Shaun of the Dead kind of style, kind of poking fun at the zombie genre, but then it tries to be quite serious as well, especially with Dave Bautista's backstory, and then it just kind of falls flat. And I don't know really what Snyder was trying to achieve overall, because was it meant to be just a zombie movie? Was it meant to be a heist movie? Was it also meant to be a, you know, a Dave Bautista vehicle of an action? You know, because there's moments which I did quite like when, you know, Bautista's jumping on casino tables and he's shooting zombies. I was kind of. I was liking that moment that was happening there. But yeah, just initial thoughts. It's just, I feel like what I think Snyder was wanting to get out from this movie, and I don't think he achieved both. I think the film is just average at best. So that was my initial thoughts, just kind of quickly there, and some likes and dislikes. So my likes that I have, I really did, as it says, I liked the Tig character. I could not tell you the name of the character because there's so many bloody characters in this movie. I couldn't even tell you what Dave Bautista's character's name actually, to be honest, was. But I really liked her because she came across that she didn't care, and I kind of liked that, to be honest, because I had that impression. I did like Dave Bautista. I liked his the daughter as well, because I liked her in, as I kind of joked, the Tim Burton movie she was in. She was good. I enjoyed her. And that was kind of I didn't care for the German character. I know some folk think he's getting his own show, I think, or something, for some odd reason, which I don't think is needed. But there we go. That seems to be what we're getting nowadays. Shows or movies that doesn't feel needed. Sometimes it works, like the Joker movie. That was actually pretty decent, you know, and sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, just kind of overall, my likes. I like that. I really liked the opening sequence. I thought, like, a good chunk of this movie, I was right into it. I really was enjoying it. But I'll kind of go into my dislikes, what I think about that. Another like I really liked that smart zombie, even though I don't like smart zombies, but I liked that they at least used it to with the whole helmet stuff. I thought that was actually quite an interesting concept that they did there. Some of the action's fine. I think the action isn't, it's not a great action movie. As I says, I don't think it's a great heist movie. They get there, they walk a little bit. They do a nice little thing with the zombie traps and all that. They use zombies. Why the zombies don't just suddenly just turn and clearly just bite into the people that are right next to them. But I did kind of like that they microwaved the hand to give it some sort of kind of heat back into the hand. That was kind of, I didn't hate that. So dislikes for this movie. It's actually not that many. I didn't hate this movie as I was kind of going into, because I'm not the biggest Snyder fan. There's movies I've kind of hated more than this, to be honest. It's at least relatively focused. I think that's the best word to kind of describe it. But halfway along this movie, it just falls apart for me. It just loses any. It's far too long. It's like nearly 2 hours and a half long, and it's very bloated in terms of just like lengthwise. There's some scenes it just feels like I could wrap this up a little bit here, and it just feels like it doesn't a little bit. And I think it's a shame, because I think if it was maybe a bit tighter, the movie, I think it would have. I would have got a lot more out of this movie, and I just kind of didn't because of that. Another big thing for me is, and a lot of people complained about the whole pixel issue thing. I never had that issue. My issue was the depth of field. There's a big issue with focus and the way it was shot. And this is an example of Snyder. He was the director of photography in this movie. For some odd reason, I don't know if he wasn't able. It was his first one where he did it, and I don't know if he was just not able to get one in time. I don't really know. But yeah, there's some shots where it's like everyone is in blurred, bar like the character that's obviously like the closest to the camera, and it was getting to a point where I was watching it, and I don't know if it's because I wear glasses or something. I sometimes get a little bit kind of, oh, that's getting a bit deary-eyed for me, and wasn't the biggest fan on that, if I'm honest. It's just the way it was kind of shot. I didn't. It felt kind of ugly a little bit, and some people think, I mean, that's all up to them, but a lot of people think Snyder's a big, oh, he's a visionary director. I think, yeah, I mean, like, people always go on about 300, but that movie's already aging, and it's going to look terrible in, like, 30, 40, 50 years time. It's going to look, I think his biggest achievement was Watchmen. I think that generally is a nice looking movie. But yeah, it's just that, which obviously for me, you know, I do generally take a visual thing of watching a movie, and when the movie is literally quite visually hard to watch, I think that's quite a big issue. Another dislike I'm going to say right now is don't get too excited of seeing the guy to use his chainsaw again, because he's not going to use that. That was a nice setup and zero payoff to that. What the hell was that all about? They made such a big deal about his chainsaw, and he doesn't use it once after mentioning that. I did not get that whatsoever, because you know, even the child in me was all getting excited seeing him chopping up zombies, but no, I really thought he was gonna die, and then Batista would have picked up and just chawed through folk. I thought that was gonna happen, but no, can't have fun. And that's kind of really it in terms of dislikes. The issue with this movie, and it doesn't sound like an issue, but it's just fine. There's not really much to chew on, really. No pun intended. But it's just there's nothing to love, I don't feel, from this. And hey, if people love this movie, good on them. I'm glad someone gets something more out of this. I love review movies like this because you can really talk about it, like, and that's what I always like. That's why I always love Batman v Superman. I could talk about that movie for ages. Yeah, that's kind of just my overall dislike. So for my reviews, you don't just get reviews. Oh no, you don't. You also get Johnny's fun facts of the review video day thing, where I like to give you some little fun facts of the behind the scenes of this said movie. So enjoy. Dave Bautista turned down Suicide Squad to do this movie. Yes, so the almost released the Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn, originally was going to have Dave Bautista in it. Which role that was going to be, I don't particularly know. A lot of people kind of jumped that it was going to be the John Cena role, just obviously pure just because look at size of them, of the guys. Naturally, Dave Bautista was like, and you know what? Good on him that he did it as well. He was just like, James, I know you're my buddy, but this movie, I'm the star of this movie, and I'd imagine he would probably get more money as well, surely. I want to, you know, do this. My name is number 1 there, not number 8 out of how many of there is there. I completely stand by Dave Bautista's decision. It makes perfect sense, and quite right to him. Tig Notaro was inserted via green screen. Yes, I don't think this is a fact that's not really known now. It came out while they actually already filmed the movie that one of the fellas, Chris, was a sex pest. I mean, who isn't in Hollywood anymore? Christ almighty. You know, good on Snyder actually for doing this. He was just like, no, we'll get rid of him, and I must say did a damn good job here. Look at me defending Snyder, what's going on? Tig was generally, all her scenes were on a green screen, and most of the time you would generally not know anything of it. There was some shots that were done quite well, where our first scene with Dave Bautista, he was behind a fence, and you wouldn't think anything of it. It was generally done really well. Some scenes where she is actually talking to Bautista, and he is just completely blurred and all that. This whole depth of field, again, what I was talking about, she obviously is not. And some scenes like that I find quite noticeable personally, but overall Snyder did a damn good job actually managing to incorporate her into this whole movie and not think it was weird at all. First Zack Snyder movie shot digitally. If I can even say the word, but there we go. So yes, this is his first movie that he shot digitally. All his movies before he was shot in film, and I think you can tell that this movie clearly has a more kind of, personally, I don't want to sound pompous, I don't want to be that guy, but I do agree when Tarantino and all that come out with that film looks better. It does. I get a better feeling from film. You can't tell the difference. To me, I think you do. It has like as it says, this movie is not a nice looking movie, and I think that's also the issue. And surely, as a part of Snyder, that wish you could go back on that, but obviously you can't. But well, you can go back and completely get rid of characters. You can tell that there is a feeling of that kind of. It just doesn't have that nice kind of gloss, that kind of nice feeling. It's almost. It almost actually is too glossy actually a little bit. It just doesn't sit right with me, and I know a lot of people don't particularly like that. Some people just don't think anything of it. They're just not in that kind of headspace, you know. Surprise, surprise, people just watch movies just to be entertained, and that's it. They don't have to sit and in their sad, lonely life and review movies. James Gunn almost directed the movie. So cast your minds back to 2009. Zack Snyder actually already had the script written. This was something of, I think, very much a passion project for Snyder he was wanting to do. And he is actually quite good friends with James Gunn. They obviously did Dawn of the Dead together way back when. And originally it looked like the roles were going to be reversed, because back in Dawn of the Dead it was James Gunn who wrote and Snyder directed. While this time it looked like it was going to be Snyder was going to write and James Gunn was going to direct. But for some odd reason, I tried to look up, but there was not really much on that side of information. James Gunn declined to direct the movie, so Snyder just took it all himself. Literally all of it. He was meant to just direct, but then he decided to also do director photography as well. So the most challenging scene is not what you expect. So when you think of these big movies, you always think like, oh, the most challenging scene is having Dave Bautista jump on tables, or incorporating a whole character CGI into a movie. But no, it turns out actually the most challenging scene was the opening sequence, because it took 5 weeks to film, simply because Snyder got very pretentious over this and was wanting a precise shot and precise time of when it was getting into dusk, so it looked not nice, actually, to be honest, in the movie. I didn't like how it looked in the movie. I get what they're going for. It was to make it look all kind of all mysterious and dark, but even though every character in this movie is dumb, so it was just kind of, God, that opening. I didn't like. I forgot about that opening actually. Now it's not a good opening. People. Why did that soldier not clearly see the light coming towards him? I just don't. Oh God. But I also understand sometimes in these kind of movies, characters have to be dumb simply for the movie to happen. So I completely understand sometimes the reasonings behind such things. So that's my fun facts for this video. Hope you enjoyed those fun facts, and I hope you enjoyed this video too. I hope that I get to do some reviews in the future. I'm hoping to do more kind of relatively what's new coming out. I don't plan on going to any cinemas soon. As I says, I don't particularly enjoy going to the cinema, and that was even before the pandemic. I think the cinema experience is completely lost out in me. When you're anyone above the height of 5'11", it's not comfortable. It really isn't. It's just not at all for me. It's not comfortable. So hopefully more videos in the future on doing more reviews. I hope I'll see you then. Like, subscribe if you see more of this. I need to keep doing this sort of stuff, so you subscribe down there. That'd be really great of you. Very nice indeed. So more videos in the future, and until then, see you later.